Hello friends, and welcome to my John Henry Sheridan music channel. Today I am going to show you guys how I cook a pot of garden veggies and whatever other plant-based stuff I have around the house. So I can't believe I'm making a cooking video. It seems really funny, but I actually got the hang of it and I can make pretty good dishes, plant-based dishes. So I want to walk y'all through the process because I think in the past 7 months or so I've really figured out how to do this, and I know what a mystery it was when I first started. And I've been vegan for almost 9 years, but whole food plant-based or low-fat whole food plant-based only for about 7 or 8 months. And also I mix it with what I'm doing in the garden. So I imagine there might be some information I have to share that could be useful to other people. If it's useful to you, please give it a like and let me know in the comments what you got out of this. And let's get started. So my videos, if you notice, are just basically one camera shot and I upload, because if I don't do that, I won't make a video, because I don't like to edit that much, all right? So I got this big old pot, you know, about the size of my head or something. So I don't use oil. My wife is not against using oil. She will occasionally, and I won't, argue, but low fat, whole food, plant-based is the way I eat. As a type 1 diabetic, it's been the best for me. With my tooth pains, with my digestion issues, with my hemorrhoids, with my headaches, various things, it definitely is good. I'd studied many different authors and experts. The most impactful recently was Mastering Diabetes. Check them out. So I use a lot of the info that I learned from there, but really from my whole 9-year journey and just my own personal preference. So this is how I do it. Instead of using oil, I saute things in vegetable broth. This is the first time I'm using this particular brand. I usually use another one, but it's what I have, and it's good. So you can make your own vegetable broth. Sometimes what I do is when I use frozen veggies, I will put them in the pot with the water. Then when they're boiled, I strain it, and I strain it into a pot so I can reuse that hot water, do another set of veggies. So let's say first I do peas, then I do strain it, then I do corn, strain it, using the same water in both. I might do a third vegetable like broccoli. I save that water, that boiled water, which now has the essence of corn, peas, broccoli in it maybe, and then I put it in the refrigerator, and you get like this, something about this much or half of that you could use as veggie broth for the future instead of oil. It works totally fine. You can buy store-bought veggie broth, or you can do that other way. I do both ways. So first I'm going to take a little bit of this. You could use it, generously, and just pour it in. Okay, so I'm like just making it nice and wet because I'm going to get the flame going. And unlike oil, a water-based type of thing will evaporate more quickly, I believe. So I'm not going to start it going yet until I have something put in there, which I actually do. So first I'm going to dice the vegetables, and I'll walk you through that. I also have these cans set aside. I did a little pre-preparation. I have diced tomatoes, whole kernel sweet corn, no salt added, dark red kidney beans, sweet peas, no salt added, and tomato paste. I didn't open a few of them. I want to show you the can opener I use, just to show you my basic way of cooking. I kind of got just 1 or 2 formulas that work for me, and I just rinse and repeat, and it's fine. I feel good, tastes good. My wife and my son can eat what I make. Let's get started. So, just to get things cooking, when I use a can, I'm not promoting a brand. This is just what I got. I don't buy organic all the time. Occasionally, if it's a sale, I do. I will empty it into a strainer, and then with a bowl underneath, and then I'll rinse it like 2 or 3 times to get all the salts or whatever it's in out. So it's as kind of clean as I can get it. So now I'm putting this whole can in. I used to kind of measure can and a half, or a cup and a cup and a half, whatever. I just put the whole can in. Makes things simple because you can always reheat and you can always adjust flavors. This is practical stuff. Now, without trying to sound sexist, I'm a guy and I like to do cooking very simply. But it's also being an American, maybe it's also being a 21st century person, whatever. I don't want to create stereotypes, but my personality is do it as simple and basic as possible, and functional and healthy. Simple, basic, functional, healthy, all right? And tasty, of course. All right, so next, so that's in there. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a stir, because so I got my my veggie broth. Before it gets too hot, maybe I could show you. I'm not sure. You'll see it. Yeah, so can't really see how much veggie broth I have in there, but a good amount. Maybe half a cup or something, maybe more. Now I'm going to go to the greens. So this was harvested from the garden yesterday. These are collard greens. Of course, you can get them at the store. You know, when you harvest, you just got to check for bugs. I gently knock them off, do my best not to kill any bugs, but can't be perfect. Okay, so I just bunched it up just to make it neat looking. So I'll keep this mixing spoon over here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of roll it up, you'll see, like a cigar, just to make chopping it easier. Because I just want to chop this up kind of quickly, kind of densely, and the longer you have it cooking, kind of less objectionable the flavors are. Because not everyone likes collard greens, not everyone likes dino kale. Carrot greens can be a little bit hard to eat. They can certainly get stuck in your teeth. So, you know, something like that. And then in they go. So that's all the collard greens I harvested yesterday. Next is dino kale. So dino kale is this kind of big looking kale leaf. And I'm going to keep the flame medium low. Okay, so this nice kale leaf, several of them. And do the same type of thing. Take off this rubber band, and maybe I'll do it in two shots here. So I keep it in a bowl of water to keep it nice and crisp. You know, I try to eliminate the things that look like they have bugs eating them or any disease or decay or anything. Get the best ones. Roll it up into this kind of cigar shape. It's just how I do it to make the cutting kind of easier. More surface area to cook. If I can get in a couple of extra chops to make it even smaller, I will, without going overboard. Definitely nothing approaching perfection with my cooking methods. Very practical, trying to get as much nutrition in as possible. Alright, just cutting that dino tail. Nice and, well, you'll see, I think. Alright, so trying to get it into, you know, just this clump of green goodness. Now, I didn't mix the collards in yet. Now, before I go too far, probably gonna put some spices in to get the flavors mixing, sauteing, whatever the word is, blending together early. So now those greens that you saw before are becoming a darker green. Okay, so this is a radish, a rogue radish. I say rogue because it was in my carrot bed, and it's bed or planter box, and it was the only radish in there, and it wasn't no bulb, just the stem. But you could eat radish greens, so I don't like to just pick something and throw it out if it has greens, because they are edible and they have nutrition, and you could pay money for them in the store. So why would I waste nutritious food that costs money, you know? So I just do the same thing, roll it up, cut it up, and get it in there. It's all gonna blend together in this final product. Next, I'm gonna do some Swiss chard. So I'll show you what that looks like. The Swiss chard like that. Ooh, nice. This is looking good. It's the tricky thing when I was harvesting Swiss chard and some of these greens is just getting them when they're at a decent size before the bugs get to them, or it's potentially some sort of disease. So it's tricky. I mean, I really respect farmers because this type of growing is very difficult. Cumin, a couple of sprinkles. Cumin's got, you know, a little bit of that potentially Indian flavor. Ground coriander. It's not important that you have these spices. Whatever spices you have that you like, just add. You know, you'll learn trial and error, what's too much, what's too little. At this point, I don't measure things. Paprika, I find I could just kind of put a lot in with these type of dishes. I'm going to mix it all in a minute. Since I'm going to use, maybe I'll skip it. I'm using beans and corn, so I think chili powder is going to be all right. A little chili powder. I'm going to throw in some garlic powder for sure. That's always but that could be, it could be very strong. So I use usually half as much garlic powder as I do onion powder. I love them both. I'm not chopping up onions and garlic. When I'm in a great mood, I do. Or really when I plan to cook, when I give myself a decent amount of time, I love chopping up onions, garlic, sauteing them first, maybe adding potatoes. I'm not a big fan of chopping vegetables, it's just whatever, not my preference. I chop fruit all the time. Eating chopped vegetables that have been cooked is fantastic. This is realistically, I'll use the cans or the frozen and the fresh greens more often than not. Now tonight I'm not doing a starchy grain, but in a perfect world I would also have prepared a pot of buckwheat or barley or buckwheat, barley, lentils, quinoa, any of that. Just mix it all together with this dish that I'm making. Now I put a lot of seasoning and spice. You could skip it or just add one or two, but it's fun to use all that. And now, when I mix it up, you're gonna get a nice aroma. Wish I could, share the aroma. And notice I didn't add salt, and I didn't add pepper. So this has no oil, this has no salt. Not because it won't have any salt, it will, but this is just the bare bones vegetable broth, green vegetables in large quantities, can of beans, seasoning. Now the salt and pepper will be to taste when you eat. To the diner's taste, you add salt, you add pepper, and I also put mustard on the table and ketchup. And you could add mustard and ketchup. We also like to have mixed nuts, unsalted mixed nuts. Add a few. This is more crunch, more texture, more flavor. It's just a rich, delicious, nutritious meal. Very light. I'm at my ideal weight, and I've been eating like this, like pretty strictly for about 7 to 8 months. And this is typically my lunch, dinner, or both. Okay, so let's get those Swiss chard going. I'm not saying you should do any of this or you should be doing anything. I'm just letting you know what I've been doing, just in case you're wondering what other possibilities are out there that maybe you haven't explored. All right, so I'm going to roll this Swiss chard up like a cigar, like a joint, if you will, and get that in there. Swiss chard has tons of vitamins, phytochemicals, micronutrients, a lot of good stuff. I did hear, you shouldn't overdo Swiss chard and spinach for whatever reason. So maybe don't do a ton of Swiss chard and spinach every day. But certainly fairly regularly is, I'm guessing probably A-okay. But maybe not every day. Okay, so now I have all that harvested Swiss chard. It's got that nice purple and green color. This goes right into the fragrant pot, which again has dark red kidney beans. It has collards, now Swiss chard. What was the other green I put in? I put in radish greens. And what was the second green? Oh, dino kale. So it's got a lot of greens in there. Okay, next, I have a bunch of arugula. I'm gonna skip it because I take off the leaves. It's a process. I don't want to put you through that. But I do want to show you what I would do with the carrot greens. So here are carrot greens. So I planted a bunch of carrots. This is kind of my style. And then I just let them grow. And the ones that seem like they're going to make it for the long haul, I let them stay. Then other ones that might be infringing on them or just don't look it, I pluck them a little bit young. So you get just tiny carrot treats. This was a longer one. And but there's plenty of nutrition here in these greens. So I'm going to use that up. So this is kind of what I would do. And yeah, so I might need to add a little more veggie broth soon, but I'm letting it really cook down because I think it ends up tasting really good when it all blends together. That's why I want to get those spices in on the early side. You know, like when you do saute garlic and onions, maybe with tomato paste. Everything tastes great. Oh yeah, tomato paste. I'm gonna get that in there, but not just yet. Let's get the greens in. Okay, so these are pretty clean. I'll give them a quick rinse because you know, the bottoms of the carrot was in the soil. The roots, of course. And then I guess just the greens, brief rinse. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same idea. I'm going to kind of ball it up and just chop away, because these have a tendency to really get caught in your teeth. But you know, I want my eye health to be top notch, and whatever other good stuff carrot greens offers, I want to be a part of it. I want to respect the carrot. So just getting all that, whatever it has to offer. It's kind of like, you know, a smoothie, blending everything together, and then just, you know, making sure you don't waste nutritional opportunities. This is, people pay money for vitamins, right? I have. This is vitamins. Right from Mother Nature, right from my own backyard. So I basically trust it, right? I mean, I don't know 100% where I got the seeds from. I ordered them. I trust that they're from a decent place, but and the soil. But what happened in between, you know, I grew it myself, so I know I didn't add any chemicals. It's a nice feeling. So one more thing of carrot greens. Then I'm going to add these cans, and I'll just briefly explain how I work with them. You know, just so you see my approach. And I use this very basic knife, not a sharp knife. You know, my hands are precious to me as a guitar player, so I don't like to mess around with sharp knives. Especially when your hands are wet from dealing with vegetables all the time. I don't like that wet hands and sharp, super sharp knife. I just don't like it. This is the same thing I use to cut. Here's some, it's like little carrot pieces there. Same thing I use to cut fruit in the morning. This knife. Alright, so some more carrot greens. Maybe it doesn't look like much, but it's going in there to combine with the already very nutritious, flavorful green and red party. Okay, so I'm gonna, while we're here, get a little more juice in there. I pre-cut this lime, what do you call it, key lime. And squeezing that in there. I gladly use those sort of lime juice squeeze bottles, but we actually have key lime, so I'd rather just use them. So I rinse the top of this tomato paste can. I do like Urban Meadow because they tend to be more affordable than other stuff, and so far I've noticed quality's fine. All right, and then so this goes on. This is a Japanese thing. Maybe they're American ones that look the same. I don't know, but the only drawback is it's got to be your right hand. You can't really switch when your hand gets tired if you do a lot of cans. So you just kind of go around, old-fashioned style. I don't have an electric one. And what's cool about it, when you get to the end, you just pop open the top with the edge here, just like that, so you don't have to hurt your finger grabbing it. And just a quick, easy rinse. So I'm just going to take a heaping spoonful and plop it in. Again, no measuring. the ingredient is tomato paste citric acid. So should be fine to me. It's not like it's adding virtually no carbohydrates, no very little sodium. So it's just that thickness that I want to add. So that's a nice amount. Put that spoon over here. I'm just gonna close it just that much and just put it on the refrigerator door. And I'll use it within the next week or two. It'll be fine. I don't have to seal it, nothing. I've done it, it's fine. If there's a little black part on it, scrape it off. Okay, so we're gonna skip arugula. There's plenty of greens in here. So now, I'll show you, let's say I take the corn, right? And again, this is just corn and water. I know corn is GMO and probably one of the dirty dozen or whatever. I'm not striving for perfection here. I'm striving to at least stay whole food plant-based and eat in a way that's satisfying to me. So what I can do is I can avoid salt and added salt and sugar. I'll add salt myself. The sugar I don't add, but I just have tons of fruit every day. So I do this, having this spraying feature is definitely helpful. Shout out to my friend Dave Evans who helped me install that. Okay, just whole can of corn running. And I'm going to do the same with the sweet peas. So you have this dark red kidney bean was a can I already put in. Putting that on my strainer. So this diced tomatoes, just to give it body. I find, you cook things up, everything I do is a little bit stewish or stew-like or soupy, but it's not a soup. You're not like slurping anything. You're eating it, but it's kind of wet in a nice way. So again, this is just vine-ripened tomatoes, tomato juice, less than 2% of salt, calcium chloride, citric acid. So minimally processed. That's the goal. Not to be perfect, but to avoid getting the stuff that has oil, that has added sugar, added chemicals. I just put about half of the can in. It's for flavor, but also, tomatoes nutritional. And for consistency. It's fun to chew on those tomatoes. Let me give it a little stir. There's still veggie broth in the bottom. It's not like it all evaporated yet. So, and I do stir with my left hand as well as my right hand. I will give you a look at this towards the end because I want to just keep on moving. But right now you get, I see yellow, green, light red, dark red. It's got a nice, just healthy, pleasant smell. Light, not a strong smell, but it's nice. And that's what it's going to feel like in your body. Light, pleasant, but it's a lot of it. So it'll fill you up. I've never been hungry eating low-fat, whole food, plant-based. Unless I fast or do a mini fast. That's the only way I can be hungry. Is to purposely not eat. But the food, there's no lack of satisfaction. So you saw how I did that. With the can opener by hand. Put in the peas. So I'm rinsing out the can. It's a very watery approach. I'm also rinsing berries pretty much every other night to get them ready for the morning. So that was once, that was twice. Rinsing these canned peas. just to get this extra sodium or any chemical can residue off of them. They taste better, more pure. All right, I'm putting that whole can in there. Almost done. I'm going to squirt in another lime, key lime. Again, I could add the arugula. It looks like it'll be fine if I don't use it today, so I'm going to skip that process. So does eating whole food plant-based take time? Yes, but you can see it's not, the video is 30 minutes so far. We're almost done. And then of course, if you want more, something starchy or grainy, you could have a piece of good quality bread with this. Mastering Diabetes doesn't recommend it, but whole food plant-based bread is processed, so it's not ideal, but I do it. I eat bread, and it's fine if you know your body, you know what you can handle. It's not number one advice thing to do. We add some veggie chips. Again, not number one healthiest, but for example, this, minimally processed. Look, I'm not going to make an excuse for it. That's not healthy, right? But it tastes good. It's good for the soul because our soul enjoys it. I'm going to mix this up a little bit more. I'm going to show it to you, and then we're going to wrap up. Okay. All right, so it's very physical, this way of eating. Very physical. And I believe, it's good. This is how I currently feel at this present point in time, middle of June 2023, that eating a large quantity of plant-based food for your meal is good. It also, it goes through your system. It's great for your digestion. There's a guy named Rip Esselstyn. He's really someone I follow. He's been doing this lifestyle for decades. And he wore a shirt that says, "Eat plants, take epic dumps." He's a funny guy. He was a firefighter. He was like an athlete. And it's true. So if you want epic dumps, eat plants. Because I feel when I'm eating tons of this good stuff, that it's just scrubbing my insides. Even though it's not the same as fasting, I do feel it is a form of detox. Okay, that's all. 33 minutes. Can I take it to 33 minutes and 33 seconds? No, probably not. But some of the other videos I do want to do soon are how to make barley, how to make buckwheat, oatmeal. Of course, people know how to do these things, but maybe you don't. Maybe you're like me, just kind of knew about it, but never really did it. So I want to simplify it, demystify it. Okay, 33, 30, 1, 2, see you later.